the music play background, piano music playing in the background in my church office. 11 o'clock around on January 10th, 2017. So sudden ringing of my phone, of course, interrupted my prayer time, and it was unexpected call from my DS Dan, who was Reverend Rene Perez. Probably you might know him. Then with a brief greeting, he passed his phone to the bishop. So I don't know what it was, and in a split second I thought to myself, oh no, what did I do wrong? I mean, that was the first thing. So Bishop wanted to appoint me to be a DS of the New Hampshire district. So it was total surprise. So I thought maybe he had called the wrong number. I was then given 24 hours to pray and discern about the appointment. So my wife and I talked and prayed. But I was convinced that I was not good enough, I was not qualified enough to take this position. Next morning, I was not ready. Lynette called me again. I noticed his phone number. So what did I do? Bishop, maybe you might plug your ears. I didn't pick up the phone. I was not ready. It's already 24 hours, but my heart was not ready. All night I'm thinking and then pray about it. I was not ready. I didn't pick up the phone. Sorry, Bishop. Because I never imagined that I would be called to serve church as a DS. Even though I knew that was a divine call. That's God's call. God is calling me. But I was not ready. And I had to look myself. The more I look at myself, the more I was convinced that I was not the right choice for the call. But then, I had to submit my will to the will of God. I said that was very divine, yet scary and painful, and very humbling process to receive the call and answer the call.
Amen.
Thank you, Bishop, for making me scary and humble me again in the sense of serving God and serving God's people. Friends, what about you? Have you ever experienced that those God calling moments in your daily lives? In your workplaces? At your home? At your maybe involvement in the church ministries? When you sense that is God's calling you, that were you scared like me, or were you overjoyed? Or were you surprised completely, or were you expecting that is coming, that moment coming to your life? If you have, don't worry, you and I are not only ones. From today's two scripture lessons, we find very similar story when Isaiah and Peter are they called by God. Especially today's Old Testament lesson, on an ordinary day, Isaiah is doing minding his own business and doing his thing in the temple of God. Just regular day. But all of a sudden, Isaiah gets called to the service. In a dramatic way. Because he sees God, the Lord is sitting in the throne, and he hears, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. Heaven and earth is full of his glory." And he smells the smoke that fills in the house of the Lord. And he feels that doorpost is shake. And finally, that Isaiah expressed himself, woe to me. Like I said, what did I wrong? Woe to me. I'm ruined. Because I'm just a man of unclean lips. I'm not worthy to serve you, to be called for that capacity of the calling. Because I live among those people who always have that unclean lips. I don't know, I could do that or not. Then his mouth was touched with a burning coal. The next picture, and then angel proclaims that your guilt is just taken away and your sin atoned for. Look at that picture. If you ponder this event and this God calling moment, that there's a sequence. Because God, he see God first. That's encountering God. And then that will bring back to you that you're going to see yourself. And you have to confess. And God, forgive us. Forgive him. Forgive us. Then the voice of God calls to Isaiah, whom shall I send? Who will go for us? Then Isaiah responds, here I am, Lord. Send me. Here I am, Lord. Send me. What about Peter's story? On his daily, just regular, ordinary day, he is having one of those days when nothing, it seems going right, because he had to work whole night and had nothing to show for it. He was tired and he was ready to call it a day, and it's a time to go home and eat. Of course, he must be hungry. And the breakfast might not be a fish and chip, because no fish. And maybe you think that plan to take a nap, right? And then this happens. Teacher, Jesus, who knew little about the fishing, the art of fishing, invite him to go a little further in the lake, and once again let down the nets. And then we all know the rest of the story. But we know this is just more than fish story. It's more than fish story. A story of God is calling us, Peter. He was overwhelmed by the miraculous, unbelievable catch, and Peter immediately fell on his knees and cries out for mercy. Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man. I can't do this. I know you are the Lord, but I cannot follow you. I'm not qualified. Look at me. I'm not qualified. There are so many other stories in Scripture about how God is calling people. Next is Moses. Maybe next. Moses by the burning bush. Maybe next. And then remember that Jesus' mother Mary, who was visited by angel. And Paul on the road to Damascus. And Samaritan woman at the well. And Mary Magdalene at the tomb. Very similar story. When God appears to them, they are so scared and we are afraid. But they receive the voice that was their calling story. As God has been breaking into their lives, also God is saying God is breaking into our lives every day on our just ordinary day. Inviting all of us, each one of us, to receive God's call. Sometimes in the middle of minding our own business, in the middle of our just ordinary day, just God steps in and makes us look and then brings us to just to our knees cannot do this. I'm a helpless person. We just never know when or where God is going to show up. If you understand that this whole story, then whatever we do every day, that is not just stuff or just simply work, not just our wishes and hopes. Even your working place or at home or studying, or you talk about the community, living in this community, it's not just simply a community. It is God's intention, that God's invitation, all of us to put you in here to serve.
Amen.
God's calling.
Amen.
That perspective will change us and also redefine our calling. But remember, we are all in this together, in the same boat, together as a people. As you pray aloud together, we are pray together as a people who have been called and invited to follow Christ in this place and time. This past October, with about 25, I'm not sure exactly the numbers, with 25 others, with the bishop and Prema, we went to Korea as a pilgrimage. One day we went to the Foreign Missionary Cemetery. As you can see the picture, that's the cemetery, right in the central city, central place of the Seoul. Out of many tombstones, I found one interesting missionary named Ruby Kang. She came to Korea at age 25 in 1907, and she died in less than a year. At a request, she was buried in Korea, and this is what she said. Maybe we can read this together. Tombstone. If I had 1,000 lives to give, Korea should have all. What a bold statement. Even she was 25, or she never married. She was teaching English and she was teaching Bible Sunday school in Korea from Texas. That's what she said. Even though my life couldn't just to serve this country more than a year, but just less than a year, but still if I had 1,000 lives to give, still I can give all to this little country, unknown country. In the letter she wrote later, right before passing away. This is what she wrote. Dad and Mom. But the persecution is getting stronger. 2 days ago, 3 or 4 of those who have accepted Christ less than a week have been dragged away and they were martyred. Missionary Thomas and James were also martyred. They were orders from the mission board to return. But most of the missionaries are hiding and worshiping with those whom they have shared the gospel with. It seems that they're all planning to be martyred. The seed that was sown in the backyard before I came out here must be filling our neighborhood with the flowers. As those seeds bear many flowers in the land of Korea, there will be seeds sown other nations. And as she says, I will bury my heart in this land. I realize that this passion for Korea that I have is not mine, but God's passion toward Korea.
Amen.
Can you say that her life, ministry, and mission work is wasted? I'm standing before you now, share her story of 120 years later. What is the passion that God placed within you? Like she said, this is not my passion, this is God's passion. What is God's passion within you? Think about it. study was taken of maybe 50 folks that they are age of about 95 years old. So they asked one simple question. If you could live your life over again, what would you do differently? 3 answers. What they're saying was, I would reflect more. I would risk more. I would do more things that would live on after I'm dead.